Hey, what's up? Ryan here. And today I got you my number one secret when it comes to generating more applicants for your jobs. Has everything to do with employer branding, but nothing to do with what you think employer branding is. So let me tell you how I got there. Throughout my entire career at Applicant Pro, anybody there will tell you that I am just a hardcore stickler for quality of content. What I mean by that was if you think about any given situation, right? I've got a target audience who's going to read my content. I have the content that I'm going to send, and then I have my distribution method of how to send it to them and the call to action. And pretty much any time in marketing, there's going to be those four parts, right? Who's the target? What are we going to say to them? How are we going to get in front of them? And what is the call to action? Now, when we switch that over to branding, this same thing says, hey, but the what are we going to say might be the specific tactical thing, but how are we going to say it so that it kind of reinforces our brand and whatever that brand is. And a brand is not about logos and it's not about color scheme. It's about the overarching message to this target audience about why our company, our organization, what we have to offer them is valuable. Now, when that comes to, say, hiring, then that's your employer value proposition. That is, hey, I know my target audience and I know what my company is, and I know how to explain that working for my company will be better than where you work now or better than somewhere else that you could work. And that's kind of my employer value proposition. Now, what is the tip for this? Well, the tip or the idea is when we think about that equation of who's going to read it, what they're going to read, how will we get it in front of them, and what is the call to action? Generally, human resource professionals forget that what are we going to have them read? And will it be compelling and relevant and credible and engaging? Matters immensely. We get so tied up in, is it on Indeed? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on ZipRecruiter? Did we check all the boxes of job boards? We completely forget that having a boring, terrible piece of content out there, while it's better than not having it out there at all, you're leaving the part that's actually most in your control that doesn't cost you $0, right? Having a better piece of content to put out there on the job boards, to put out there via email, to put out there on your career site matters huge. And that's where, I spent the last decade talking about write a better job ad, quit using job descriptions, they're super boring, create something more engaging. And yet if I go look at the average job ad, the average HR person got like 5% better, right? I didn't say take the job description and make it more compelling. I said quit posting job descriptions, post an ad, put a link to the job description. There's very little chance for you to turn a job description with its duties and recommendations and qualifications into something that will be both compelling to the reader, but also still be compliant and check all the boxes that your lawyer wants checked. It's just you're trying to do two things with one piece of content that was never meant to do both. And that trade-off is going to be very difficult. So your takeaway, take your employer value proposition and stick it inside of all of your content. It needs to be everywhere. It's not just about the job ad. It's also your Indeed profile, your Glassdoor profile, your LinkedIn profile. It's not just about the job ad. It's also about the thank you message after you get their application and every single one of those touch points that happens afterwards. It should weave this story of why we're a great place to work. It should consistently tell this story about the core things that make you unique and make you valuable to your employees and to job seekers. This concept of our unique employer value proposition should be not just consistent, while it is important to get consistent, but it should be everywhere. I need to explain it 7 to 10 times before somebody's going to remember it. Do that math again. I need to say it 7 to 10 times to every single person before I can ensure that they actually got it. So let's do the math on that. I could put it one time in the job ad. Right now, that's it. So that's not 7 to 10. And so it's not surprising that job seekers, when they walk in for an interview, don't know what makes you unique and are not crazy excited about coming in and might potentially ghost you. You had one shot and that was it. Now, what could I do to solve for that? Well, let's take our message. I could put it in the ad. in the confirmation email, in the follow-up emails that I'm sending when I do an assessment, when I request a video interview, when I request to schedule an interview. When you come to the interview, I could talk about it very first in the interview. I could put it in my follow-up emails. I could also subscribe all these people to job alerts. And so that way, even if we weren't progressing them on the recruiting for this one job, they're continuing to get my storyline. And that really is the most important tip when it comes to recruiting, is that knowing your employer value proposition and then embedding it in every piece of communication or content that you create is going to create this long-term employer recognition and reputation that your entire talent pool will suddenly start to know why they should want to work for you. And right now, if your job ads don't answer that question, why would you want to work for us? And if your apply confirmation email doesn't answer the question, why people want to work for us? And if every single touch point that you do via email, via text message, via in-person call doesn't constantly reconfirm why you should want to work for us, then you're missing out on what I believe is one of, if not the most important part of that equation of know your target audience, create a message that will engage them, distribute it, get them in front of them, and call them to act. That one variable, crazy important. So thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Hey, Ryan at Refer.io. I got more great content coming your way, including some examples of good and bad of what this looks like. So watch for it. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you're getting my emails. We'll talk to you again soon.